Hello everyone, this Thursday from Dublin, Ireland. I hope you're all keeping well and thanks for the support with my videos. I'm very grateful, and thanks to everybody who supports me too with Buy Me a Coffee, and links to that platform will be in the comments at the end of this video. Today is the 1st of February and it's the first day of spring, and also here in Ireland it's a very important day because it is St. Bridget's Day, one of Irish patron saints, along with St. Columcille and St. Patrick, whose feast day is the 17th of March. So today is the first day of spring, as I said, St. Bridget's Day, and it's also extra special because it's our 1500th anniversary today of her passing. Now, St. Bridget was born in Foggart in County Louth, quite close to Dundalk, and in Irish history and folklore as well, it's stated that she was in Kildare at one point looking for land to build a monastery, and the King of Leinster said he would give her land that would be the same size as her cloak. So he said throw her cloak on the ground and that would be the land to build her monastery. So she proceeded to throw her cloak on the ground, and folklore says that the cloak grew and grew and grew and grew up to several acres. So then he was so mesmerised by this that he awarded her the land to build her monastery. And there is a beautiful place to this day, St. Bridget's Well in Kildare, that's well worth visiting. Beautiful part of Ireland in Kildare town, which is not too far from Dublin. So if anybody's ever travelling there, they should try and make an effort to get to St. Bridget's Well, lovely part of Ireland in Kildare, just off the Curragh there, which is a beautiful part of Ireland, as I've said. But it's also first day of spring, and it has its roots in pagan times and Celtic folklore as well, in terms of the midpoint between the winter solstice and the spring equinox, which falls at the end of March. So the evenings are getting longer, days are getting brighter, hopefully the weather temperature will get warmer, and we'll hopefully see more improvements in the weather, which is mild enough today considering. But it also has a huge significance for the farming community in Ireland and our history here in Ireland too as well, because it is synonymous with milk and dairy, and not to mention the move towards planting of crops, which provided so much sustenance for communities all around Ireland, and in particular with many improvements, for instance, over the years as well, and even synonymous with the blacksmiths as well. The blacksmiths were very prominent around this period in Irish history, where they would work on fixing the carts for people, and obviously the horses as well. And the blacksmiths obviously were synonymous as well with Irish Revolution history in terms of providing pikes during the 1798 rebellion. The boys of Wexford and Vinegar Hill, and the famous uprising of 1798 with the United Irishmen as well. So it's hugely significant in Irish history, and also very important in the context of what I have as well, which is a St. Bridget's cross. Beautiful, beautiful cross here that is part of Irish tradition and history, that would be hung on the door, made from rushes, which is still a tradition that's carried on to this day in Ireland, which we're very proud of, and that would give good fortune to people in those homes as well. But today let's get on with some news as well. So I want to talk about the European meeting in Brussels today. All the heads of European states are meeting to hand over and sign over more money to Ukraine. The money tree never stops for Ukraine. The begging bowl is out for Zelensky. And before I start that, actually, he's under serious pressure himself, because there's been quite a bit of friction in the Ukrainian camp over the last number of weeks, with Zelensky being threatened to be fired. Zelensky tried to fire the head of the armed forces of Ukraine, didn't work, and he's been forced to backtrack. So because Zelensky has the full support of the army behind him, and Zelensky has very little to no power, if even. You've even seen videos of the far-right Nazi Azov regiment laughing when he's trying to give orders or instructions. And he's also a puppet, as we know, of the United States, also named in the Panama Papers. So this is Zelensky. So he can't as president of Ukraine, he can't fire Zelensky. So let's see how that develops as well. There's huge pressures in his camp as well, and let's see how the collective West respond to it, because it's been remarked upon in a few of the newspapers. Not so much in Ireland, but I've seen across other countries where it's been remarked upon. But in Ireland, of course, they won't say much about it. So today all the European leaders are meeting. Leo Varadkar has turned up in Brussels to bow down to Ursula von der Leyen, like he's always done, and bow down to the warmongers to proceed with this war, which is deindustrialising Europe and de-dollarisation and all those other implications. But Leo Varadkar says our economy is doing great. Well, more people are suffering. And he's going to swan off to on the St. Patrick's Day visit now in a few weeks to the White House to genocide Joe Biden. Explosive Joseph also, as I've called him, because of his involvement in the Nord Stream, which is leading to sky-high energy costs for people across Europe, and not to mention the impacts on industry and business as well, because has the inflationary impact as well, along with the profiteering with these big energy companies. But it's important to know why Varadkar is there today. Varadkar is there to bow down and say yes to the deal that's being proposed by the European Union, the 50 billion over 4 years. And in the context of this, it's important because a couple of months ago, Michael McGrath, the finance minister, who's been touted as moving into this European Commissioner role as well, he's second in command of Fianna Fáil behind Micheál Martin, and he has said that Ireland will have to contribute more into the European budget now to get the same services. Now, Ireland already is a net contributor into the European Union budgets, and giving more and more of our money across, not to mention the huge debt that's been forced back year on year into Ireland, but also in the context of the war in Ukraine and the financial implications it's having for the people of Ireland. So we're going to have to pay even more into this European budget to play the corrupt regime in Ukraine, pay for BlackRock, pay for all the big 1% to make money out of this, pay for the military-industrial complex, and ordinary people are suffering. We can see the catastrophic, disastrous neoliberal policies in Ireland and the impacts it's had on ordinary people's lives, with our homeless housing disaster, with our health disaster, and now we see it with the cost of living disaster as well, that's impacting ordinary people and ordinary working class people most of all. So in the context of this, they're looking for Ireland to give money towards this. Leo Varadkar, of course, will wag his tail and nod and say, yes, yes, Ursula, whatever you say, Ursula. I'll go along with you, Ursula. Yes, 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 yes. Much the same as he's gone along with them about selling out our neutrality. We're in a clear breach of our neutrality by providing weapons training to Ukrainians. And not to mention the migration chaos that's created because of the war in Ukraine. So we have all these implications, and who's paying for it? Ordinary people. Joe and Josephine Public are paying for all this, the ills of the 1%. But according to 5 European leaders, we have to stay the course and finish the job, even though they're losing. Finish the job and keep deindustrialising Europe. So they talk about the sanctions work, and Olaf Scholz himself has been speaking about this, and speaking about the need to sign up and give this 50 billion over the next 4 years. And he's been supported by Kaja Kallas, not surprisingly, from Estonia, who's a yes woman for the warmongers. Possible touted leader of NATO, who knows? I'll put it out there, Kaja Kallas. And we also have Frederiksen, the Danish Prime Minister, and Mark Rutte, the Prime Minister from the Netherlands. And we also have the Czech Republic Prime Minister. His name escapes me at the moment. So there's 5 of them have signed this letter to say we have to support them for as long as it takes and keep the pressure on. So this will be the big call today, and you'll hear it all around the media today, that they'll be all saying we have to get fully behind them. But there's one stumbling block, perhaps a big one. Big stumbling block is Hungary, Viktor Orban. Currently the European Union are withholding 20 billion euro. The money is due to Hungary because of Hungary's reluctance to sign up to this 50 billion package over 4 years. And fair play, I say, fair play to Hungary. And maybe Slovakia as well. I'll see what Robert Fico says today. He's stood up on a platform for looking for no more funding for Ukraine and for peace in the war as well. But of course, peace is an antithesis to these people. Joseph Borrell, the High Commissioner for Foreign Affairs in the European Union, has said there is no need for a peace or a ceasefire. We need to keep the war going. And why do they need to keep it going? They need to push this unipolar world. US hegemony, stroke European Union being a vassal of the US to keep their hegemony going. This is what it's all about. They don't really anticipate a multipolar world. But unfortunately, beyond anticipating, a multipolar world is a reality. Because in the last few days, the United Arab Emirates have traded with China in a digital currency and moved away from the dollar. We've seen the issues with the financial implications for the dollar as well, with the season and freezing and possible season of Russian assets. Over $300 billion, I think. And not to mention the, as I said, the push towards the multipolar world and the push away from the sanctions packages. And now Borrell is talking about more sanctions on Russia. Meanwhile, profits in Russian banks have gone through the roof. So the sanctions are really working. When most countries are plunging into recession, even their technical recession with their GDP, here in Ireland too, we're well in the depths of pushing in towards a recession, even though they won't talk about it. And that's the reality. They won't talk about it until it's well upon us now, and then the austerity will kick in again. Austerity 2.0 on steroids will be imposed on the people of Ireland. But of course, this won't be discussed in the national newspapers or media until the day has passed, and the blame will be pointed firmly at the door of Putin, rather than looking at themselves and deciding peace. So as I said, the Foreign Relations or Foreign Affairs High Commissioner Borrell, who's due to finish up this year as well, he is speaking about no more peace. He's speaking about keeping the war going. It's vital for their interests. And Orban is holding up this package. Currently they're withholding, as I said, €20 billion money to Hungary that's due. His approach is to give 12.5 billion each year, and that it be audited, and that he see where the money goes, which is asking something going to Ukraine. The magic money laundering machine. I wonder if Biden will like that. He wants to see what the US are going to do. Are they going to bail out, or are they going to go in fully behind them and support them? Or are they going to just leave Europe to it, holding the parcel, pass the parcel, and leave Ukraine with Europe? And of course, this negates the impacts of what's happening on the ground in terms of the war and in terms of the ground that's been gained by the Russian forces, which has been ignored by the media. So they need more weapons, need more arms, need more military industrial complex, keep the war going, don't look for peace. So it's vitally important to connect these issues to what's happening here domestically here in Ireland. In terms of the migration crisis, cost of living crisis, we can all point the finger at the war in Ukraine and the decisions by the European leaders not to push forward for peace, such as the Minsk Accords, Istanbul agreements, all these agreements. They've ignored them all the time, and they've pushed for more war. And this is the message that will come from this European ministers meeting, or leaders meetings today, that will push this agenda further and further on. So let's see how this goes today, and it's a quick one today, just talking about what's going on in the war in Ukraine and how it impacts us here in Ireland. It's very important to start connecting it. And some people do say Irish issues are vitally important, which they are, but we're interconnected to what's going on outside Ireland with the European Union and globally, and it's vitally important to try and connect those issues. And my videos try to get across the message to yourselves, to share out and talk about those issues and get the information out there to your friends and people you know about what's really going on in society, because the mainstream won't talk about it. They won't connect the dots. They make it a simplistic issue. They put it into little compartments on the news. This is about housing, this is about migration, this is about something different, and they don't realise they're all connected. But more people are waking up, thankfully, to the reality on the ground, to what's happening. And again, please share my videos. I'm really grateful to people who do share my videos and get the truth out there to what's going on in society, and call these people out for what they are, who serve the 1% in society. And the political establishment in Ireland are cowardly. In particular, so much of the opposition, who won't tell the truth on the war in Ukraine, because they're afraid that the media might say something against them. They might turn on them. And that's the problem. That is the problem. More people need to know what's going on, and it's vitally important here in Ireland that people know this. So if you're in Ireland, please share my videos. If you're overseas, please share my videos as well, to know there is people in Ireland, and are people in Ireland that, and give the reality to what's happening in Ireland, and offer a proper, fresh perspective that the media won't offer to people. That's why I do the videos, to get the real message out there to what's really going on. And we need more people to speak out on these issues. So speak out, use your platform, whatever platform you have. Same as myself on my own videos, my own pages. Use your platform, speak out, speak your mind on these issues. And more of us can speak out and speak the truth, because that's what won't be silenced. When people speak up, stand together, speak out, that's what changes things. Changes things from the ground. It's not always, social media is important, but it's also more important, I'd argue as well, is to come together in your communities and try and affect change through your communities as well. That'll put the needs of people first. So from Dublin today, on this lovely spring day, St. Bridget's Day, I will show you a little bit of nature and the beautiful Poddle, one of the lovely historic rivers of Dublin. And a lovely grey heron has joined me for the last couple of minutes of this video. So I'll bring you a bit closer. And it's funny, I'll tell you a funny story. There was a friend of mine, sadly passed on there a couple of years ago. An old man I knew in the area, lovely man. He used to name the heron Bertie. Bertie heron. Unfortunately, he's just gone up. I'll see if he's here now. So I wonder if there's any brown envelopes. As I digress, it was a nice spring day, and we have to keep the hope alive. It's vitally important to keep the hope alive for a better society for all of us. Let me just show you here. You might see him there in the distance, just wading through. A few ducks as well. Here in... So the Poddle, famous river, flows all the way from Tallaght in southwest Dublin, all the way in. It was the main source of water supply for Fife in Dublin as well. And it's a tributary of the Dodder as well, which is a beautiful river that was at last week as well. So on this first day of spring, it's important to see our nature amongst us. So from Dublin this day, take care, and thanks. Please press like Facebook page, YouTube channel, and my TikTok and X as well. Thanks for supporting me on that platform as well. And we'll wait with interest what happens in this meeting in Europe today. And let's see how it goes. And let's see how it's reported. Just check how it's being reported as well. And we did a real fact check on it. The real fact check. And real, we'll see the misinformation coming at us thick and fast from the mainstream when they'll be discussing this meeting. Targeting Orban as well, so wait and see. Take care, mind yourself, see us all soon. Bye bye, and thanks so much for all your support. Bye bye.